Okay, welcome everyone. It's 6 o'clock. We'll get this meeting called to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Welcome, everyone. I am going to turn it straight over to Ethan Douglas, our ASB. Oh, yeah, sure, go for it.
Good evening, everyone. I just want to say welcome and thanks for coming. Just want to give the board and our team a heads up. We do have some weather communications in Sherwood right now that our team is attending to, and currently we have 2 to 3 of our buildings that are without power, and we're making sure we're staying connected with them. In the event we do lose power here, with Chair Carson's blessing, we may continue maybe quicker, but we'll continue with our meeting if safe to do so. But I just want to give us a heads up. We did have some flickering going on throughout Sherwood, and just want everyone to be safe and sound. So just wanted to let you know we do have some members of our team that are out now trying to help the situation. So we hope everything's just fine. We have a lot of events going on in all of our buildings as usual on every given night. So just wanted to give the team a heads up. Hi, Ethan.
Hello. I'll do my best to follow that, see if I can be a little more exciting. I'm going to start us off with academics, like I usually do. Trimester 2 is coming to a close at the high school, and finals are right around the corner. Just like last time when we transitioned from first trimester to second trimester, everybody is going to get a whole new slate full of classes. And as trimester 2 is coming to a close, we are getting ready for next year. The current freshmen, sophomores, and juniors all just did course requests. And the freshmen got visited by me last week. I got to speak to them, gave a speech twice to talk about my experience in high school and some tips alongside some of my peers. And then they all came in today and we gave them a tour around the high school with landmarks and what classrooms were. And it's really exciting to see how excited they are about all the different things that we offer, especially when we get to like walk into the woods room and there's like all this stuff and they're like, whoa. Yeah. And I had one more thing I was going to say to them, but yep. And they got a 1 week extension on their course request stuff. So they, as of right now, are actually at freshman night at the high school. And for that, we have a club fair that's being hosted as well, so that the freshmen can kind of get exposure to all the clubs and things that we offer and be able to find things that interest them and then go from there. And if we don't have a club for them, then they can come to student council and make one. For the arts, the play that goes wrong wrapped up earlier this month. It was awesome. I went with a big group of student council kids. I don't think I stopped laughing the whole time. I don't know if any of you were able to catch it, but it was hilarious, and the entire auditorium was packed, and everyone was laughing. I have not seen them put on a comedy show before, and it was actually a lot of fun because it's about a play that goes wrong, and it went pretty wrong. Their next show is Shakespeare's Much Ado About Nothing, which is this week. There's showtimes Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And Winter Guard got first place in their competition over the weekend at Grants Pass. And 2 weeks ago, our jazz band won the League Jazz Festival. And Winter Percussion just competed in the NWAPA Premier event this last Saturday in Albany at South Albany High School. And also this weekend, if I'm moving on to activities, we just had Bowman Pageant. I've talked a little bit about that before, but that is a fundraiser that 10 teams of senior partnered contestants, they're seniors, and there's pairs of them, and we call them contestants. So a total of 20 of them, sorry. All help fundraise money for Doenbeckers Children's Hospital. And every year we donate a lot of money. And this year we were able to donate over $39,000 to Dornbeckers. And all of those teams are amazing. I get the honor of being able to coordinate tech and help direct the pageant as well. And it's amazing to watch the joy that it spreads in these people in the audience that watch the pageant, but also in the contestants as well, because it's amazing to be able to kind of have that impact back on your community. And we had a blood drive on the 11th of this month, and we were able to donate a bunch of units of blood. That is our second trimester blood drive, so we'll have one final one during third trimester because we do one each trimester. And it is Staff Appreciation Week this week, and at the high school we have a big plan we've been rolling out to highlight our staff. All of the teachers have posters where students can come and write thank you notes or gratitude cards, or there's a bunch of different things that they can do. And they'll be getting a couple of little surprises this week, but if any of them are listening, I don't want to ruin the surprise. So there's much planned. And we are wrapping up winter sports for the most part. It is almost time for spring stuff as track is right around the corner. Keep sneaking up on me. Boys basketball clinched league, so they will be able to move on to the playoffs. Both boys and girls basketball have their last regular season game this Thursday. Currently both of them are projected to be able to go into the playoffs. We'll see how they go, how that goes. Swim just had their state championships this last weekend as well. Maya Webb got 6th in the 100-yard freestyle. Avery Contreras got 8th in the 200-yard individual medley. And I'm going to read their last names because it's a group of them. Celie Contreras, Gonzalez, and Webb got 9th in the 200 medley relay. Maya Mucky, a para-athlete, got 4th in the 50 freestyle and 3rd in the 100 freestyle. So a lot of good performances across the board for our swim team. And wrestling had 4 boys win their weight class at districts. Coach Wilson was league coach of the year. And they just had districts, but now they're going to state this next weekend. So those 4 boys that won league plus another 6 who qualified for state will go and compete. And then 4 of our girls wrestlers also qualified, and they will be competing alongside the boys at state. Our Arrows dance team got 14th at nationals. Yeah. And our cheer team got 4th at state. So a lot of amazing performances to kind of wrap up the winter section of sports. Yeah, that's all I got today. Jazz band was supposed to be here, but unfortunately couldn't make it. But I am excited to bring them back in the future so everyone can delight in their performance.
Thank you for that. I would be remiss if I didn't also mention your mom posted on Facebook that you got into the University of Chicago. So a big round of applause to you. That's a big deal, and we're very proud of you, and congratulations.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Okay, on to board. Oh no, superintendent, I was going to skip you. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Well, thank you and good evening once again. I want to be fairly brief but focused. I too wanted to talk about staff appreciation. So it is wonderful, and I think similar to Mother's Day, we don't want to wait once a year to say thank you, and so hopefully we don't. But on behalf of our district office team, I specifically wanted to say thank you. We have 752 people who wake up trying to make a difference, positive difference for kids every day, and they choose to work in Sherwood. And so that includes our friends in Seiple, the transportation team, our nutrition services team who are in buildings and also serve multiple schools, the schools themselves, and of course, all of our district office team here. And it is unbelievable the community support and appreciation we received during this week. There's additional treats and goodies and warm wishes and kind notes. And I know that I can speak for our staff is truly touched by them, and they appreciate just the time and thoughtfulness. So on behalf of our team, I want to say thank you to our community for making those efforts. Those are appreciated and noted. And I am thankful and humbled to work alongside of them and to work alongside our team. I also want to thank our administrators who work incredibly hard. All of these folks, or many of these folks, also are parents or grandparents or help parent in another way, and they spend a lot of time pouring into someone else's kids. And so I just want to say thank you to them for making a choice to work here in Sherwood. And you know, we work together to have a common goal. We want to inspire one another to build a joyful community. And we want to do that through academics, but also through connections and through relationships. So on behalf of our team, we do hope that there are plenty of donuts and good cookies and goodies for this week. But we just want to say thank you. And we do have a staff appreciation week all week. And I know each school has many different things planned, and we are blessed because of the district office. Schools take on and support district office team and district office departments. So they come and when they're supposed to be appreciated, they're turning around and appreciating district office. So it's pretty cool. It's a pretty unique situation. So on behalf of our team, I just want to say thank you to the 752 folks, and I really appreciate that.
Thank you. Okay, now we're on to board reports. Do you have a board report? Okay, so we have a board report from Director Thorne and myself, correct? You're not. Okay, nothing from Director Thorne. Okay.
So just super brief, I had the honor of attending the Sip and Spell last Thursday. Always a great time. And I really just want to give a hats off to the board of the Sherwood Education Foundation for all that they do for this district. It is not an easy feat to pull that off. And even during the event, you're seeing them hustle around and perfecting everything. And it was just a great time had by all. I look forward to the years to come, and thank you for allowing me to be a part of it.
Thank you. Yeah, I was sad to miss that. I'm a little under the weather and I didn't want to share that with everybody. Yeah, you're welcome. I just wanted to also touch on Staff Appreciation Week. Obviously, it's a big deal. It is not too late. It's only Monday. I know they have stuff planned every single day at every single school, so you can always get in contact with your PAC presidents, you know, parents that you know that are involved. Like it's super fun to like get involved and, you know, bring treats and show appreciation to all the people that help and pour the love into the kiddos all week. So on behalf of the board, we appreciate all 752 of you, and you keep rocking it, and we love you all. That is it on my update. We can scoot on to consent agenda. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion to accept the consent agenda.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries 3-0. Okay, there is no public comment tonight for the agenda items, so we can scooch past that and move on, correct? Okay, move on to information discussion, and we'll start with the accreditation report from, oh, the audit report. Oh, we changed it, my bad. I'm on the old one, sorry. The audit report from Gary Bennett.
Okay, thank you, Chair Carson. I'd like to invite Matt Kaufman to go ahead and come on up to the podium. And while he's going up there, I'll introduce Matt. As you know, Matt Kaufman, he's a budget committee member, been a budget committee member for the last several years for us, and most recently the budget committee chair. He's also the chair of a committee that you likely remember, the Financial Accountability Committee, which we formed last year to take a more in-depth look at our finances and provide a little bit higher level of accountability. One of the main things that committee does is to review the audit, the annual audit, which we did a month ago. And so thank you to Director Hawkins and Derek Thomas and Matt for serving on this committee. And Matt's here to share the results of that committee with you, or that meeting with you tonight, and I'll turn it over to you. Thanks again, Matt. We really appreciate it, and the floor is yours.
Perfect. Thank you, Gary. Make sure I'm clicking in the right direction. So as Gary mentioned, a group of budget committee members and board members met with our auditor on January 27th. We had an hour-long conversation where we had all read through all of the provided materials from the auditor, brought questions, and discussed those questions in detail. I will go through this pretty quickly, but if anyone out there is interested in watching our conversation or perhaps is having trouble sleeping, there's an hour-long video out there on, I think it's on the district YouTube page that you can go through and watch. I'll go really quickly through some of the things we discussed. We reviewed the annual financial report. So we walked through any audit findings. We looked at our positive budget to actual results and our improving net fund balance. We discussed some internal control findings that related to both the Oregon municipal audit that's required by the state, as well as the accompanying schedule of findings and question costs. Then we asked about any auditor or financial staff concerns, just kind of generic questions to ask the auditor, was there anything that you saw that raised a concern or made you uncomfortable? Or are there any things that we should be thinking about over the coming year? And no concerns were noted. More than that, the auditor spoke very highly of Gary and the rest of our finance staff and said that it was a pretty smooth process this year. So overview of audit findings. This is just a quick summary provided by the auditor. We got a clean audit opinion, which means that there was no material misstatement found in the financial statements that the district presented. That's auditor for saying that they didn't find any major issues that needed to be corrected or discussed. No issues with state minimum standards, no issues with non-compliance or question costs around federal rewards. The only things that were noted is in the management letter, there were two internal control material weaknesses and a significant deficiency. And we talked through those in detail with the auditor. Again, if you want to watch the video, you can hear us discuss those in detail, but I'll discuss those briefly toward the end of the presentation tonight. The first thing that we walked through, and this is something that we've talked about before. One thing I do want to call out is we started this 2 years ago when we were in a much different position in terms of the amount and quality of financial information that we were getting on an annual and periodic basis throughout the year. And so a lot of the things we're going to be talking about this time are things we've been reviewing as a district. So big credit to Gary and the rest of the finance staff for improving the reports that we've been seeing. But a couple things to call everyone's attention to. One, we came in under budget this year. So our budgeted expenditures for fiscal year 2024 were $68,984,000. We came in at 65. So that's a credit to everyone at the district office for managing our finances with good stewardship and making sure that we overpromised and whichever way that's supposed to go, overpromised and underdelivered during the prior. Did I flip it again? Yeah, famous last words. The good version of whatever that saying is. We came in under budget. In addition, our general fund balance increased. So these are a couple of the things that we want to be looking at every year to make sure, are we coming in? How does the auditor assess our performance against the budget? What is the kind of directional trend in our general fund balance? Again, positive on both counts. Change in net position, which has a bunch of other things that go into it that aren't really worth discussing, but has a similar positive trend. And the big takeaway here is just the conversations we've been having as a district in this room about our finances align with the work that the auditor presented. And there was nothing that made us think twice or worried that we were missing something. As far as internal control findings, there were several things that we noted and discussed in detail. An issue reported under Oregon municipal audit standards. We had an emergency purchase during fiscal year 24 that went through without bid or board approval. And Gary, if I'm remembering that right, that was for the door, the high school security doors, or am I?
Yes, what this
Yeah.
came down to was we had some challenges with the lock system we bought at the high school for emergency locks, like in a lockdown or something like that. The system just wasn't working. In fact, the company was ending support of the product, and we had to make a quick move to buy some new locks to get them installed. There's literally hundreds of doors at the high school, and we had to move quickly to make sure they were ready to go for this year. And I did not know if we had an emergency sale that it had to be approved by the board. I'm convinced we got a good price. The company that sold us the system that went out of business gave it to us at what we believe is a good price, but that's learning for me. So that's what that one's about.
So that was one issue. We also had 2 material weaknesses and 1 significant deficiency that relate to report disclosure, not necessarily district finances or district operations. So if you're curious about those, we discuss them in detail, but the long and short of it is each one of those really is more about what column different numbers were in the district annual report, not necessarily the content of the numbers themselves. So there's a note at the bottom. We discussed all these in detail. Auditor confirmed that these issues only relate to financial report disclosure and had no impact on district funds, fund balances, or the district budget. So looking forward to fiscal year 25, we want to make sure that all those control issues were remediated. One thing we did talk about at the meeting was that none of the issues that were noted in fiscal year 23 recurred in fiscal year 24. So things that were identified, were remediated and fixed. We want to make sure that happens again this next year. So the things that we talked about don't show up in future audits. We want to improve some report records. Some of the things that happened in the reporting process or in the compilation of the annual report document. Some improved report reconciliation can just make sure that everything ends up in the right line or the right bucket on those reports. And then, the auditor made some recommendations on some peer district best practices that we could incorporate. The other thing going forward, the bond levy proceeds are now included within our annual report. We want to do a better job of comparing and contrasting our, funding and performance with peer districts around the state. And we want to do some additional reporting to the community about where those funds are being spent and how they are supporting different aspects of Sherwood Public Schools. So I went through that pretty quickly. Are there any questions? Perfect. Nothing super noteworthy, but if you want to see some additional information, the video of our conversation with the auditor is online and available for anyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. Appreciate it. Nice job.
Thank you, Matt. Always very thorough and entertaining. Moving on to the electronic device update with, are we all there? Van Fleet, Wilkinson, and Chuckaroo. And that's it? I just have 3. Yeah.
Hello, thanks for inviting us. Is this on? Do I need to click anything? We good to go? All right. Inviting us in to deliver an update on how our cell phone electronic device implementation has gone so far this year. Just a quick highlight, and if we go back in time, it's kind of fascinating that cell phones have been around 20 some years, and to varying different degrees of cell phone policies in classrooms. I came from a building that started a true off and away policy in the middle of the school year. There were a lot of lessons learned in the middle of that. But we went that direction in a previous building because of the dysregulation of students and the constant battles of walking into a classroom with earbuds and devices that were permitted in one classroom, not in another. Starting out this year, had fantastic support from my administrative team and district office in our initial thoughts around history within the district and where we want to go to make education as best we possibly can for kids. From that, we were able to take the conversation to our leadership team of teachers and classified staff members at the building, who gave me a little bit of guidance that there could be some resistance and pushback to such a bold policy of off and away all day from the moment kids come in. At the beginning, they walk through that door, the phone technology should be off until the time they go home and that final bell rings. We were able to take that conversation that had universal support by the end of the conversation to our broader staff. And I had a little hesitation because some staff really feel personal, just like parents and students, about the want or the perceived need. I was blown away when we got a standing ovation from our staff saying, yes, this is the right way to go, to make sure that we are focused on learning on each other and not being distracted by devices. We had an opportunity to then highlight that and give parents a notification before school started that this is what the direction we were going to go. And at our back to school night, looking into the stage, one of the larger crowds I've ever spoken in front of, I wondered how that message would go when I reminded folks that that was our stance for the year, that we were going to be door to door with our cell phone policy. And again, ovation when we announced that this is exactly where we're going to go. So I was kind of pinching myself coming off of that feeling, knowing that we're in lockstep with where the majority, I believed, of our parents were going in believing we needed to go with our students. So I actually had a conversation with my daughters just 2 days ago and said, hey, when we rolled this out, do you have any idea how many emails I got from parents or phone calls when we said that we couldn't use phones in schools? And my daughter said 50%. You had 50% of parents reach out. And I can let you guys know and look me in the eye that I had zero. In terms of negative support, everything was positive. So on that front, very, very awesome start. We were able to have assemblies with our students. We covered the updates and the rationale and the reasons and the why. So it would sink in that it wasn't just because I'm a mean principal, but that I really was looking out for you and for your education moving forward. So we warned our students. We gave them the soft start idea that we were just going to kindly remind, hey, starting next week, if we see those phones, they can't be out. Earbuds, they can't be out, please put them away. And our students responded incredibly well to that. So I think we'll jump into a couple pictures of what we're seeing in our buildings right now. You can hear my words, but it's kind of fun to see the visuals also.
I think I'm tall enough for this. So this is a picture. We have a few to share with you. We thought photos kind of speak louder than words sometimes. And for those of you that have spent time at the middle school pre-pandemic compared to now, you can agree that it feels different now. Having spent 4 years there as an administrator, I can tell you this isn't always how it looked at lunchtime. There were a lot of screens out. Kids were pretty distracted. There wasn't a lot of face-to-face conversation, and honestly, not as much laughing and joy. And if you walk through the cafeteria now, you'll see kids looking each other in the eye, playing games, having conversations, telling jokes, and you hear the laughter. Like when you're walking down the hall toward the lunchroom, you hear it, which is pretty cool. So it was fun to just walk around and see that in person and just the change that has happened over time. There's just a much stronger sense of connection and community, and you see that everywhere, which is really neat. So we wanted to share with you also some behavioral data because that also paints a picture. We pulled the trimester 1 data from last year and this year and just compared the total number of referrals. And I wanted just to give a caveat that we know that the only change was not the cell phone policy. We know there are lots of other things. We have different kids and different teachers, certainly, but we really believe that this is a major contributing factor to this data. So you see in 2023 Tri-1, we had an overall total of 256 referrals. And in Tri-1 of this year, we had 115. So a pretty significant decline in overall incidence. And then this graph shows by specific incidents, the type of behavior. So we looked specifically at skipping and disruptive behavior because we felt like those were two categories that were most likely linked, at least in some capacity, to cell phones. And so we went in Tri-1 of last year from 15 skipping incidents to 3 this year, and from 59 disruptive behavior incidents last year to 29 this year. And I just, because I was curious and I'm a nerd, I looked at Tri-2 just to kind of see if all of these numbers are kind of on par to continue this trimester as well, even though we have 2 weeks left. And we actually look like we're going to even do better. So there's even fewer incidents this try compared to Tri-2 of last year overall, and also with these specific categories in mind. So that's really encouraging to see. We do believe it's related to the cell phones, but we'll take it for whatever reason. And then this graph is showing the average number of incidents per day by month. And so you can see again in Tri-1 of last year, we were anywhere between 3 to almost 5 incidents per day. And this first trimester is looking much, much fewer incidents. So that was really encouraging to see. And Andy's going to talk about passing time. Share some pictures. Let me keep looking for you.
That'd be awesome. And I'm always get nervous when I get in front of a mic. So hi, I'm Andy Van Fleet, principal at Sherwood Middle School. And yes, this is the passing time photo that we took recently. And a huge difference from my previous experience in middle schools is kids looking at their phones, walking through the hall, bumping into each other. Here, I just had to walk through and they all saw me, giant smiles on their face. And that is the vibe that we want to see. That is the joy that we want to have in our hallways, in our classrooms, kids talking to each other. It goes so far. That's 5 minutes of connection instead of 5 minutes of distraction. And it's brilliant as we walk through the halls. And we have a couple themes here, and we'll show some actual quotes here in just a moment from students, from parents, from staff. But the themes and the reports that we have are that the children in our building are reporting more positive connections at school, that students are reporting that they're under less pressure to be on that phone. The moment one person takes it out, then the whole table does. Staff report more smiles and kind interactions. They're making eye contact with kids and high-fiving in the halls. It feels really good. Admin counselors report fewer power struggles occurring as a result of being told to put that phone away every single period or every time we're in the halls. So here's a quote from one of our staff members. Sorry for the lengthy narrative here, but I'll read it for our folks at home as well. Last year, the students were on their phones all day. They didn't look up during passing. Entire tables at lunch stared at each other's screens. Feelings got hurt because of unwanted photos being taken. Social media outlets were updated and posted during study and class time. Phones were the focus of the day. They were on their phones all day. The students at the middle school today engage with each other at lunch and free time recess, are not worried about the snaps or the chats throughout the day. They no longer linger in the halls or skip class to update their social media accounts. They play, run, talk, and study with each other face to face. It's been a huge positive improvement. As a parent and staff member at the middle school, I am super happy with the direction of the cell phone policy. And from a SMS parent, this policy is so very important for our children to be the best humans they can be and genuinely connecting with their learning, friends, and peers without negative influences and endless distractions. Another SMS staff member, I have been out in the halls during most passing times yesterday and today. Can I just say how nice it is that kids are moving through the halls with their eyes, faces up, and looking around rather than stuck to their phones. It is a noticeable difference. And another parent email, I wanted to send a quick email to show some appreciation from a parent with 2 children who attend SMS for the door-to-door no cell phone policy. Thank you. We really hope this policy continues to be enforced throughout the school year. We are big fans. It's been awesome to hear this, and this has not been elicited. I have not asked for that from parents. That was usually in the first, I'd say, 4 or 5 weeks of the school year. All of these emails came our direction, and it feels really good to walk down the halls and just have such joyous connections with kids.
Hi, everyone. My name is Patrick. I help support the high school programs. What's next is referring to the high school. So we took a different approach at the beginning of the year. Rather than door to door, we maintain our bell to bell policy. So a reassertion of a current policy with a focus on better execution. So students may use their phones during passing periods and during lunchtime. However, we know that the work there does not stop. So, understanding what is the success and challenges of current cell phone and new cell phone policies in other high school was a prime point of investigation for us. So, that took the form of many different things. One is internally, so understanding how our teachers viewed our reassertion of the current policy, as well as what might be the challenges moving forward to a no cell phone door to door policy that we have at the middle school. Internally as well, having a school have such success at the middle level, well done, by the way, is really helpful for us to determine what is the best next step for our high school as well. There is a continuous examination of practices that includes understanding what other schools are doing. Again, what has worked, what are the challenges. There are many different approaches out there, including door to door, bell to bell, yonder bags. There's different technology limitations that smaller districts are able to do. So there's many different variations, and there's a lot of experimentation happening in our region and nationally. So understanding what is working and what's not has been extremely helpful. I'd like to point out one site visit that was particularly instructive for us, and myself and Mr. Mitchell attended Lake Oswego High School. We chose Lake Oswego High School for a number of reasons. One is that they implemented a door-to-door policy. It was very strict from day one, so we wanted to see what that looked like because it's different than what we are doing. Number two is that Lake Oswego is very close to us and it shares many community and programmatic similarities as us. So we felt like it was a good comparison school. And then number three is that we know the principal and the administration there well. So we felt like we can have an authentic conversation, open, and talk about what made this work and what were the challenges. That was extremely helpful. So, like our middle school, a lot of positive feedback from the high school team over there. I just like to highlight a few key pieces of learning from them. Number one is that they also saw a decrease in student behavior. Now, they noted an increase in light social conflict. So, you took my pencil, gave me my pencil back, and having to work through issues like that actually increased, which they were very excited about. What decreased was those longer lasting online unhealthy interaction in which you lose context, you lose the human nature of those interactions, and those tended to take longer to work through. It tended to include a breakdown of communication that needed to be built back up. So what they found is we will take the everyday, let's work through the normal stuff face to face rather than the online stuff any day. Number two, they saw an increase in student collaboration in their classrooms. Some of that is fairly intuitive. They felt like there was more opportunity for skill development and less distraction. But they made an interesting point, and they said that more students are able to build more friendships. So students in class literally knew more students on an individual level, and that in and of itself increased collaboration in the classroom. So an interesting theory of you learn better when you like the people you're around, and you build those relationships by looking them in the eye. So I love that thought. And then finally, number three is that through student surveys, they also understand that there is an increase to student well-being. So we're talking about mental health. And so they still want to understand what are the specific mechanics behind that. Some of their theories are that social media, generally speaking, creates a level of anxiety. I think that is a part of the zeitgeist right now. The public discourse is around that topic as well. But they also noted there's more opportunities for students to move through challenges rather than opting out of challenges. In other words, when they don't have their phone to retreat to, then they have to move through that social challenge that they might be facing. So overall, very good feedback. We believe that their ability to execute kind of this change well at the high school level, that's very similar to ours, presents a compelling pathway forward for us. Thank you. Any questions?
I do have a comment and a question. if That's okay. So first my comment and then my question for you, Patrick. So Andy, as a parent of a middle school student, obviously somebody on the board and a former teacher, thank you. Yeah, I know how hard it would be to do that. Having been in many classrooms and districts where we tried doing something like that and it completely did not work. So thank you for having the courage to do that. Yeah. My question, Patrick, is Lake, you said Lake Oswego High School is doing a door-to-door, and you said it was working there. What's our thinking here in Sherwood? Why are we not doing that?
Well, one of their reasons why they felt like it went so well is when they rolled it out, it was very consistent, and they were able to set expectations and buy-in from the get-go from day one. So I think that presents us with a great opportunity in the fall. If we were to move faster than that, I mean, certainly I would be supportive of that and support in any way I could. Um, I think right now we are, the team, as what I know, is very open to what the future might hold. Yeah. Okay. I think we didn't know a lot in the fall. I think I think there's a lot of things that were new, and we just weren't sure if it was the right move for us. And so, staying status quo and seeing what bear it out seemed like the smartest choice at the time.
Are they looking at doing a door-to-door potentially?
Yeah, we are actively looking at door to door
Okay.
at the high school. Yes.
I think this is great work. I'm beyond delighted with the way the door-to-door has gone at the middle school. My daughter raves about it. Like, it's just noisy. They're always talking. It's like old school problems of having to actually work through scenarios, friendship scenarios. And she'll come home and ask me a question. Well, something like this happened today. And I'll say, oh, well, what did you do? Did you talk to him about it? Well, yeah, I talked to him about it. I'm like, wow. So like, they're not just escaping to their phones, like you said. They're working through problems. I think it's great. I think it's a great testament. I'm really excited the rollout. If we do this at the high school, I think it's the right way to go. Honestly, I think we would be crazy not to do it. I get excited for thinking about how these middle school kids will be by the time they get to high school. It'll be just like second nature. And so the first year of anything is hard. It's the hardest year to do anything and implement anything, because you have to have buy-in from students and staff, um, and parents. Um, but by the time if these middle schoolers are like rocking it like they are now, by the time they're in high school, it's just going to be so much easier for them and teachers and the school, I think, to build those connections. So I love the idea of rolling this out at the high school. I'm all for it. I think they need it. We have it at Lake Ridge as well. It's a district thing. Um, It'll be interesting. I mean, you're going to see some snot crying from some high schoolers, like losing their minds, having their phone taken away, but they get over it. And then the hallways are like so buzzing with they're talking, everyone. It's just like it's a totally different school from last year to this year with the door-to-door policy where I'm at and where I work. It is amazing, actually. So bravo. I'm pleased. I'm pleased to hear about the middle school. I think there's more to come for the high school, but all good and positive things. So.
Thank you for your time. And Ethan, you were a great tour guide today. Thank you very much.
Okay. And Patrick will stay for the accreditation report.
Okay, and I'll also welcome Josh Pratt, Associate Principal at the high school. Okay, so today Josh and I will be sharing about the accreditation process at the high school. Danny, you can go to the next slide. Oh, no. I would like you to walk up here and click it for me. Okay, accreditation is a continuous improvement process that helps education institutions like us improve teaching and learning. It happens on a 6-year cycle. It is conducted by an independent accrediting organization. Ours is Cognia, so they are trained evaluators who assess the quality of our programs. The purpose of accreditation is not just to help us understand what are our points of strength and opportunities for growth within our